Hey fellas, in this video we're going to be going over a training that I created to help you make some progress within your own recovery, because for most guys it can seem like they're in this perpetual hamster wheel where they're constantly getting urges, and then eventually they just don't have the willpower anymore and they go on relapse. And on the other hand, it can feel like they do make some good momentum. They feel like they're doing good, they're making progress, they go a month clean, a couple weeks clean, and the next thing you know, they go and relapse yet again, and now they feel like they're in a rut, they feel stuck again. And I want to showcase how to actually make progress and what progress looks like exactly, and some of the challenges that try to drag people down along this entire journey, giving you total clarity on what goes on so you can be better prepared and be able to achieve the freedom that you're looking for. Let's dive in. This is going to be a great video. So before we can understand how to actually improve your own recovery and have some actionable strategies that you can use, we need to understand what is progress. So what I put down is a really good visual on what progress is, because at first, progress is slow. You're getting small wins, but they stack and it is exponential. But early on, you might be able to stay clean. You get an urge and you deny it. You fight it off a little bit. You just kind of use willpower to, not act out. And that is definitely reconditioning some of those neural pathways, but if you're being honest, more of those urges are inevitable. Maybe even another relapse is inevitable because all you're using is just willpower and you're fighting it, right? And there's going to be a battle ahead, but you are building momentum. And over time, as you create more and more separation between you and your acting out behavior, and you also start to feel better about yourself, you feel more confident, your self-esteem is going up because there's no shame and guilt in the entire process, you can actually start to feel better. And that is when progress just takes off. That's when it becomes exponential, because now you're building momentum in your actual life. It's not only just a recovery thing. It's like you are feeling better and you're living a more fulfilling life on a day-to-day basis. And that is when everything takes off. But the problem is, and I've spoken about this in one of my own testimonials, is when you go through this journey and you start to make some progress, there's going to be a massive amount of pushback. You're fighting against your own body. And when you start to feel better, when you start to have that increased self-esteem, your body's not going to like that. And it actually has a very good reason. So when you start to have this progress and you start to feel better about yourself, you're like, yeah, I got this momentum going on my life, like I feel good. That is when something happens. That is when your body tries to drag you back down. And the reason why it does it is because you are no longer getting a sexual need met. You're no longer acting out. And it's like on a very primitive and biological level, it's like, wow, I can't have that. I want to go back and get these needs met because this is what I've been doing for years. Also, you're not getting the escape that you've been looking for. So maybe now that you've created some momentum and you created some separation, you feel this pain that you've been repressing and escaping from due to some of these sexual vices. And your body is starting to freak out. It's like, whoa, I don't like this. Yes, I do feel better. I feel more confident. I feel great that I've created the separation, but I need to go back to what I've known. And it's going to try to drag you back down and ruin all the momentum that you built up over time. So now that you understand the internal conflict and why your body wants to continue to go and act out, despite the momentum that you've been building up and the progress that you're making, now you can recognize the games that it tries to play. Because if you can understand the games, you can prepare for it and you can eventually win this entire thing. So there is no internal conflict. There is no self-destructive behavior in all of this. And you can actually achieve the freedom that you're looking for. And the objective, this is the most important part of this entire video. The objective of this internal conflict is to tank your self-esteem, tank your confidence, and make you feel stuck. Because when you build momentum and you're doing really good, you feel good, right? But if you want to go back to your old ways, continue to go and act out and not take care of yourself and not respect yourself and not get the results that you want in your own life, the only way to do that is to make you feel bad. So these are the games that your body is going to start to play with you. You're going to get a lot of negative thoughts, especially when you're building momentum, because it just wants to tank your self-esteem. And this is going to show up in a couple different forms. One's going to be some, that was a terrible R, there we go. Excuse my R. Some rationalizations. Man, drawing sucks. So that can look like, oh, it's been a while. It's been a while since you last acted out. It's fine, it won't hurt you. Just one last time. It's going to show up in stuff like that. There's also going to be some more deeper narratives, and I'll show you a couple examples, but I'm just going to go. And that can be in the form of, I don't think I'm going to be able to get a girlfriend. Just continue to go and pay for sex. Continue to go and see an escort because you haven't got one in the past. Why would you now, right? You don't have the ability. You're not going to be able to get something like that. I'm bad with the women. Those thoughts are going to pop into your head. And it's things like that. It's just going to make you feel doubtful in the future that you want. Make you feel doubtful that you can actually get there. And that can be a real killer for some people. Because those narratives are oftentimes why some of these guys, not everyone, but some of these guys are acting out in the first place. And that's going to be amplified, as you're building that momentum, because it wants you to feel hopeless so you continue to get your needs met, right? So it's going to pop up and stuff like that. And the reason why it wants to do this is because if you have these negative thoughts constantly popping up, making you feel hopeless about your future, taking your self-esteem, making you feel bad about yourself, that is going to manifest negative outcomes. What you think happens. If you don't have the belief that you can actually have a better life due to staying clean, that's what's going to happen. You're just going to get clean, build some momentum, and then eventually just go back to your old ways. If the belief isn't there, it's going to build these negative outcomes because your thoughts dictate your actions. If you have negative thoughts constantly going, and the belief in the future and the vision just is not there, it's going to manifest negative outcomes. And that sounds a little woo-woo, or you might have heard that before, but it's so true. Like if you don't have the belief and these negative thoughts are constantly popping up, you are going to manifest negative outcomes. So for example, if you have these negative thoughts like I can't actually go and achieve the dating life that I want, might as well continue to pay for escorts. If you have that constantly running through your head and you don't check that, that's going to manifest. You're going to see a cute girl. You might actually make an approach and it's going to go terribly because that belief wasn't there. You didn't believe that you can actually deserve it. And that's just going to reinforce that belief. So it's a whole cycle. Negative thoughts lead to negative consequences, and that results into reinforcing the belief that is also negative. It's just this negative feedback loop. And you need to be able to break that cycle if you want to achieve the freedom that you're looking for, or at the very least, make it 100 times easier to stay clean because every single part of your being desires to stay clean because it knows it's going to lead to a better life. This is how you stay stuck. This is the games your body's trying to play with you, and you have to check it. What I mean by that, just constantly check these negative thoughts, any doubts, any fears, anything at all that's not aligned with where you want to go. You need to be able to check that and also counter it. Constantly be reinforcing these positive things, not positive affirmations. Just have the vision, see what your future looks like, see the potential that's there, see how much better your life is going to be without these sexual vices. And if you constantly have that playing into your mind and you start to reinforce that because you're building momentum, you're staying clean, you're feeling better, it's actually going to manifest positive outcomes, which only reinforces the belief that's positive. That is something that you have to start to do. And you have to check these negative thoughts, these negative feelings, these negative emotions, because that is the game that the devil in your body is trying to play against you, to bring you back down, to keep you stuck, to get your needs met, to feel comfortable, to get the escapes that you're looking for, to be able to eliminate the pain that's going on in your life. That is huge. So you have to check these things. Do not believe this one bit and always, always, always shoot it down. I talk about, using self-talk when you get urges a lot on my channel. And this is just as important, if not more important, than actually using self-talk when you get an urge, because these things go deep. And if this resonates with you, if you see this, you're like, man, I have a lot of negative thoughts. I have a lot of fears. I have a lot of doubt that's going on that just always drags me back down. You read this book, Psycho Cybernetics. No, I've been reading it. I haven't finished the entire thing, but I got pretty much the basis of it, and I'm going to continue to read it and finish it. Great book. It talks about this on a very, very analytical and scientific way that shows you how thoughts dictate outcomes, how thoughts dictate actions, and how to change that. So if you have these negative thoughts, you have these negative things going on, it's going to teach you how to actually change this and replace it with something positive. And just change your entire viewpoint on yourself and self-esteem. So this is what you have to stay cautious for. This is your biggest enemy that is going to pop up as you're trying to make progress. Always check these negative emotions and recognize in the moment when these things are happening. So with that said, guys, I hope this helps you. I hope this gives you a little bit more clarity on why making progress seems so difficult at times and you feel like you're just stuck in this constant cycle. I get it, man. I've been there. So if you've made it this far into the video, I want to share with you some inside information on the Recovery Blueprint program because it has been completely transformed. Because in the past, it was focused on weekly one-to-one calls, and that was great, but it was bare bones. And it did get people great results, and you can see some of that on my channel and see some of those testimonials, but I wanted to make it better. So something that I added on to this program is a couple of different things. So first and foremost is the actionable step-by-step course that you can watch really just at your own pace, giving you all the information that you possibly need. Another thing I added was having access to my work number. So at any time, if you're struggling with an urge and you just feel like you're in a moment of weakness and you just need someone to talk to, instead of sitting there and fighting it on your own, which most guys do, now you can reach out and call me and be able to say, hey, Josh, like I'm struggling right now. I just need someone to talk to. We can have that conversation. Or at the very least, just text me about some things that are going on and we can work through that entire process and give you the guidance and the support when you need it most. And by far, the best thing that has been added to this entire program has been the access to the private community of men inside of Recovery Blueprint, just getting you access to the group. And you can hop on some of the group calls that we have as a community just to be able to get your questions answered and hear some of the other guys' questions to learn about recovery from more of a zoomed out lens, more of an objective lens, so you can apply some of those concepts into your own life. And who knows, maybe add an accountability partner, get in contact with some like-minded guys that are going through this entire process and stop fighting alone. So if this sounds awesome and this is the thing that you've been looking for to be able to achieve freedom from escorts, massage parlors, pornography, or any of these sexual vices that we went over today, I encourage you just to go down the link below and book a call with me. And on that call, we're just going to go over your situation, see if you're a good fit and just give you clarity on what's going on and, possibly even get you enrolled. So with that said, y'all have a blessed day. Stay safe, stay strong, and I'll see y'all boys in the next one. Peace.